So I'll just demonstrate for you with the muscle testing. And don't worry if my head chops off a little bit. I'm hoping to stand back. Okay, so what we do with muscle testing, we actually just put our hands down the side of us, have our feet slightly apart, and just feeling the support and closing down the eyes. And you're wanting to face primarily north. And what you're wanting to do is really just ground into this. So we're asking the body, and we're asking through the lens of a prayer to our Christ for helping with guidance and understanding, and to know our innermost parts. And what we will do is you can open your eyes if you're doing this for yourself, but ask yourself in your mind and say after me, I am worthy of God's love. And just notice where your body goes. You'll find an instant pull, whether it's forward or backwards, and just become aware of that. Don't try to alter or shift it. If we're moving forward, it's in agreement. If we're moving backwards, it's in not agreement. And we all will sway a different way. And we don't want to kind of come in between, because we're wanting to be led and guided. It's as if our conscious mind is talking to our subconscious. The next one, I have to earn God's love for approval. And just notice again. And repeat after me. God doesn't speak to people like me. And you'll notice a straight pull. I can only bring my good parts to God. And it doesn't matter if the answer isn't aligned with what you think or feel or what you hope for. Family patterns can't be changed. Repeat again after me. Setting boundaries is selfish. And the next one, I have to attend all activities to be a good Christian. And the last one, I'm too flawed for God to use me. Now, you might want to use, while I'm sitting down and you're sitting down again, you might want to use your piece of paper just now. You might have felt a real tug or a pull, or one of those really resonated with you. And just leave that to the side. Just if you found one that belief kind of really stirred something within. There are many more limiting beliefs. You can write your own personal beliefs that you feel, or you can research some beliefs that some Christians will have, because sometimes we don't know the beliefs that we have that are holding us back. So just with those, and you may have never done a sway test before. It might have been a bit unusual, but I do think that when we do it, we ask Christ within to help us, to support us, to make that connection between our conscious and subconscious, so that we can discern and reflect and pause and inquire. So I'm just going to give a little bit of insights into just these particular limiting beliefs, just to see where they resonate or how they could resonate or appear. So I'm unworthy of God's love because of my past. So we might be rooted in shame. This belief creates distance and fear of divine rejection. And so that, builds a bridge or a wall between us and God. I must earn God's approval through good behavior or works. So we might overperform. We might keep busy in church services, doing every duty that we can, and get exhausted rather than a grace-based living. God only speaks to or uses spiritual people, not people like me. So we kind of reinforce that disconnection, the low self-worth and feeling spiritually less than. And if I disappoint my family, church, or culture, I've disappointed God. We blur the lines between God's voice and external pressure or expectation. My emotions are weakness and not welcome in God's presence. This prevents us from being vulnerable, especially when sad, anger, or grief arise, so we hold it within. I can't bring my full self to God, only the good parts. This is a really well-known one for so many of us. And it fuels that disconnection and inner division. We feel two-minded or feel confused. God is disappointed in me. I haven't lived up to what he expected. Being rooted in guilt or trauma. And, especially from authorities like, pastors, leaders, parents, or just a church culture. My role in the family or culture defines who I am in God's eyes. Often believed by women and carers and eldest children, it limits the freedom in Christ and generational patterns in family and how things are that you can't change them, and blocks healing of family trauma and belief systems not rooted in God's truth. Like, if I set boundaries with toxic family or traditions, I'm dishonoring God. I know for me, this was a big one. For a very, very long time, I stayed in toxic relationships because the quote was always told over me, honor thy father and thy mother. And so it causes people like myself to stay in unsafe dynamics, confusing submission to silence. So we hide their shame, their guilt as our own.